Good morning, this is the Romany Rye. This weather is absolutely getting me down to my, churning my guts up. Rain again all night. And yesterday I had a bad day. Long day. Anyway, following on from what I've said about me, my father wanted me to get a trade. I'll tell you a couple of little funny stories about that. So there was a man down here called Sam, down in Cornwall, called Sam Leach. Probably one of the finest engineers, cleverest men Cornwall's ever produced, really. Don't think he got the recognition that he should have got, but the man was a genius. So we used to have all his scrap. So my father got talking to him and asked Sam would he give me an apprenticeship. Yes, he said, Brian, no problem. So I left school. I had myself a motorbike, about a moped. And Sam Leach's operation at that time was down at a place called Bruscrogan on the outskirts of Camborne. And Sam made all the underground tram lines for Crofty and Will Jane Mine. So he was always busy. So anyway, this morning I sets off. Off I goes. Gets there. And you know what it's like, don't you? When you goes and you're only a chavvy and you gets into this work environment. So there was a big old Gary there called Arthur Weatherall. And he had a son who was a fuckmother called Alan. Well, he's a pig, the young boy was. Older than me, but I suppose I was 16, he was about 20. So he says, you've got to work with this, Arthur said, he was a bossy foreman. You've got to go and work with Tony over there. I said, that's fine. Over it goes. The chap was Italian. But he had trouble pronouncing words. So he said, name. I said, Clarence. And he couldn't hardly get it out, so he ended up calling me Charlie. That was all right. I didn't give a fuck about that. Anyway, he was building a gas bottle storage unit outside of the factory. So they give me goggles and gloves and had me steel-toe cap boots on, all like that. So he wanted me to hold the steel while he put a tack on it, see? I said to myself, Mandy ain't carrying that. I ain't getting no electric shock. I thought if you touched it, see, you'd have electric shock. Anyway, finally by about dinner time, he got me holding this fucking steel for you to weld it up. Nice man, though. He wouldn't shout at you or nothing like that. Talk you through it. But his main job was making these underground tram rails units. So that meant that he had to weld railway lines to steel sheets. Bend them to suit. They had to fit exactly because they had to go down a mine shaft. Once they was down in the mine shaft, there was no way of altering them, so they had to be spot on. And to be fair, I think he was the only one there that they trusted enough to make these things. The man was a fully qualified welder, like. Right, so now he draws all the shapes out on the steel, and he had to weld the tram line, to one end, and then we bent them as with a power pack. Well, that sort of work, that was nothing to me. I could work all day long. Anyway, I was on 16 quid a week. So about 3 months went by, and Tony was singing my praises because he didn't have to do the hard graft anymore. He'd just say pump, and I pumped until the railway line was bent, and then he weld it down. That was custy. He couldn't sing my praises enough. Anyway, come Friday, we used to have our pay packets then in a brown little square envelope with how much you had on it. So come about 3 o'clock or maybe 2 o'clock on a Friday, start work and come to make wages, man. Got me wage packet, so I'm normally on 16 bar, see? Looked at it, 32 bar. So I showed Tony. He said, well, you better say something in case they made a mistake. So I won't say nothing to Arthur. I waited for Sam to come. Outside of work, Sam was just like talking to one of my family. But in work, he had to put up a persona, I suppose, or a front. So Tony called Sam over. Sam, he said, Charlie's wages, he said. He said he got £32 this week. That's right, he said, yeah. He said, I've been watching with interest. He said he's a real good worker. He said, and I'm going to give him double the money. So Tony looked at Mandy. He said, hey, I told you, Charlie. He said that wouldn't go unrecognised. He said, I told you, didn't I? I said, thank you very much, Sam. Anyway, I was cushy now. I had double the longer. That was all right. But another 2 weeks went by. Arthur Wetherall come to me. Clarence, he said, you're going to have to go in the fiberglass shed with Alan for a fortnight. I looked at Tony. Tony spoke up for me. Why is that, Arthur? Well, we're a man down, and Alan can't cope when they're on his own, and these tables got to be done. Now, what it was, they had moulds to make shaking tables, where the ore come down off the conveyor belt, down onto the table, laced with water, and the tables would shake and the tin would stay on the table. The rest of the shit would vibrate off. So Tony said, all right, okay. So Tony looked at me and nodded. So the fiberglass shed was like 50 yards away over in another part of the building. I gets over there. There's this young chavvy now, Alan Wetherall. I can see it now. Sitting down beside a table with a kettle on, and cups and that and milk. Sitting on one chair with his feet on the back of another one. I goes in there. I said, I've got to help you out. I was like a cunt to this much anyway. I didn't want to speak to him because he was a big-headed bastard. I said, I've got to help you out. Yeah, he said, put the kettle on. And he's sitting right beside the kettle, see? I puts the kettle on, made a cup of tea. Right, we've got to lay this up and do this up. That's right. You had to wear these fucking gloves and it was stinking in there. It was horrible anyway. So this went on for a couple of days and I thought, out of this chavvy, to myself, I said, out of this chavvy, need Anne, he's always fucking sitting down. So I went and had a word with Tony. I told Tony what was going on. He said, I don't know, Charlie. He said, do you want me to have a word with Arthur? I said, no. I said, leave it, Tom. It's only a couple of weeks. So this morning I gets in there. And he was supposed to be laying up And he said, lay up over there, he said. I said to myself, fuck it, I ain't doing it. I said, no, I ain't doing it. I said, you lay it up. He said, I told you to lay it up, didn't I? I said, I ain't fucking laying up. He said, I'm telling you, lay it up. I said, look, cunt's mouth. I could see his mood change. I said, there's not you or anybody like you, or even your father, or Sam Leach, can make me do something I don't want to do. I said, and you're a piss-taking cunt. He got up, he was on a chair, see? He got off the chair. He said, are you going to lay that up? I said, no. I said, you go and fuck your grandmother. He run at me. I could see his eyes change, his ox change, see? I run at he. And he went to give me a crack and I ducked. But I had my shoulder here, right into his chest. Boom, like that, see? He went back now, all over these fucking drums of resin. And them noise in there. Anyway, his father must have been on the way over there. He come in and said, what the fuck's going on here? Give his father his due. He never blamed me no more than ever, Javi. I said, Arthur, I said, he's a lazy cunt. He said, no need for that, Charlie. I said, I'm not doing it all, mate. I'm supposed to be here helping he. He's supposed to be the expert on fucking fiberglass. I said, and he just keep asking me to do all his jobs. And then he said, fucking pull your finger out. He said, I don't want to see no more of this either. So anyway, I come home and told my father what happened. So my father said, well, don't go back there. I said, no, I ain't fucking doing that. I said, I ain't letting he think he bothers me. Because I knew at some point I'd bound a meeting in Madrid because that was his place where he drinks, see? So if he thought he trashed me there, I'd never be no good in town. So I went back. And it levelled off. Anyway, my father sold a man some Lando horse wagons. And he was the manager of Thomas's down at Pontsnoof. So, I don't know why my father done it. He said, I got you another job. I said, what do you mean another job? He said, yeah, I want you to go down Pontsnoof. He said, there's more opportunity down there for you. You'll learn more. I said, no, I said, everything's all right. Anyway, persuaded me. So I goes down to Pontsnoof now to E. Thomas, civil engineers. There they got a spray shop, a turning shop, a blacksmith, 2 or 3 welding shops. Now at the time they were making these big steel bodies for Abu Dhabi or whatever you call it. I got the photographs, I'll put them up sometime here. So building these fucking big bodies, I thought I'd just go there and start learning welding. Not that. I was in the fucking cutting shed. It was the most boring fucking job you ever had in your life. Just cutting steel on a bandsaw. And plus that, it had to be dead right. Because if you was a 1/4 inch too long or 1/8 too long, they'd be moaning like fuck. Anyway, I goes down there and starts fucking... There's a nice bunch of boys there, but then there's a nice bunch of boys over there. So, gets there welding, gets there cutting the steel. Finally gets in the welding shop. Now there's, when I say miles, I mean miles and miles of welding building these bodies. So, after about a month, 6 weeks, they let me go to the welding shop. So my immediate boss was a chap called Tony Crace. Funny enough, he was with my father the night my father died. Anyway, my father got really pally with this Tony Craze, and it was all right. Some very highly skilled men there, and Tony Craze was, like I said, he was the manager, but he was like the yard manager as well. So he come to me one day, because again they give me the name Charlie. That wasn't because none of them was foreign. I said, my name's Clarence. I said, but the last place called me Charlie. He said, right, we'll call you Charlie. Anyway, Tony Craze used to sit in his office every day, dinner time, seeing that he would sit down and listen to the archers. Every single day. Anyway, he come to me, he said, Charlie, we got to go up in the paint shop, he said, because Michael won't be back for 2 or 3 weeks. We had to go in for operation. He said, and there's 2 lorries up the top that got to be painted. He said, so I'm going to learn you to spray. I think my father must have said to him, I want him to learn everything he can learn. On my Brian's life, the man was, he was doing everything, see? Spraying, this, that, and the other. And like I said, with the archers. So I gets up there. Now Thomas's used to have brand new Ford lorries delivered, but they was white, and they had to be orange and brown. So he puts this brand new multi-lift lorry in the fucking shed. Right, Charlie, he said, take off the grill, take off the wipers. Don't know. We've got to mask all the doors up now, he said, and the lights and everything. Masked it all up. He said, make sure you don't, take your time, show me what to do. Masked it up. Done that. And he fucked off. He said, I'll be back in a minute. Or later on, he said, just carry on masking up. I got fed up. So I goes down in the blacksmith shop, which was just down over the slope and on the right. There was a proper old blacksmith down there. That's where I learned the art of forging. He taught me how to forge steel down there. He used to have to make road pins, or anything they wanted, he made it. So, lovely old man. I spent hours dinner with him. So anyway, I could dick Tony coming up if he was going to go up to the paint shop. So, I dick him coming up I went. He said, I'll put the undercoat on this lorry now. These lorries is white anyway. So he put on a grey primer, see? Put the primer on. Now in this paint shop, heater's above us, heater's to the side of us, and heater's on the floor. It's like an oven in there. So, put the undercoat on, he did. He's good Gary at the job, man. Right, he said, we flatten this back, he said, and tomorrow, he said, I want you to flatten this back, he said. Tomorrow, he said, we'll put the base coat on, and then we'll put the final top coat on. 2 coats, it's all right. Anyway, I had this all flattened off to key the paint, right? He comes up, he puts on like an under base coat. That was looking lovely. So he said, all we got to do tomorrow is gently dust that off, have the air gun, he said, and blow all the dust away, he said. Now I'll put the top coat on. All right, Tony, yeah, lovely job. Anyway, cleaned the guns out, cleaned it all up, brushed all the floor up, so there wasn't no dust. I gets into work. Said to me father the night before, I said, spraying the lorry today, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I gets into work. On my motorbike again. Right, I'm sitting down there. You got to start work at 8 o'clock, so you got to leave home like 7 o'clock. This is all done now, ready for to put top coat on. Now, don't ask me why, because I've never done it since, but they used to use paint that you used to have to warm up. You warm it up in the oven, see? Keep stirring it, warm it up. So that's what he was showing me. So I was in work, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock come, nothing. 10 o'clock come, nothing. I thought, fucking hell, I ain't sitting here, I guess, all day. I even walked down to the office where Tony was. No Tony. I had a crack with the boys. About 12 o'clock now, still no Tony. I said to myself, well, I watched the cure this. Man, he's going to have a go at this. So I got the tin of paint out. They only had 2 colours, orange and brown, and the fucking undercoat. So I couldn't make a mistake on the paint. Takes the fucking paint out. Puts it in the oven. Keep dicking at it, stirring it. I thought, that's right. Puts it in the gun, don't I? Sprays the lorry. Now the lorry is looking like brand fucking firing new. I said, what a cushy job to myself. Lovely. Done it. I finished about 4 o'clock, I suppose. I thought, fuck it, I'll go down and see Charlie. Charlie, he was called Charlie too, the blacksmith. I said, I'll go down and see Charlie. Down that goes. What's on, he said. You should smoke a pipe. I said, I just sprayed that lorry. He laughed. I said, I'm joking. I said, I just done it. I said, I fuck knows where Tony is. I said, I'm sitting around up there all day, Charlie, waiting around. And he laughed again, so I come on and said to my father, I said, I sprayed that lorry, you know. He said, I bet that's a handy fucking job. He said, Tony's doing it. I said, no. I said, I've done it. I said, like a piece of fucking glass. I said, you want to come down and have a look at it? He said, if I get a chance tomorrow, he said, I'll come down and have a look. Right. I left the heaters on. I gets into work the next morning. Pulls right up to the fucking paint shop. Gets off my bike. Goes in the shed. Oh my God. The lorry was one complete run. Sagged right across the front. Sagged across the doors. Around the back of the cab, around the windows, all that sagged. I thought, fucking hell, what am I? This is a brand spanking new lorry. Just as I was looking around, the door opened. In walked Tony Craze. The fucking steam was coming out of his ears. What the fuck have you done, he said. I never told you to spray that lorry, he said. What have you done, man? He told me father afterwards he should have sacked me there and then, right on the spot, see? I said, Tony, I've been waiting here all fucking day, mate. I said, I don't know what I'm supposed to be fucking doing. He said, don't matter if you wait a week. You shouldn't have done that. I said, look, all I can say is I'm fucking sorry now, it's done. Right, he said. You cunt. He called me a cunt, no? He said, you've got to get all this paint off. He said, and I mean all of it. It's a fucking brand new lorry. He said, and when you're in here, only let me in. Lock the door. Don't let nobody else in here. They see this, he said, they'll go fucking berserk. Anyway, I said, how am I going to get it off? He said, I'll show you. I'll show you what you've done fucking wrong, he said. Look, picked up a paint scraper. The paint was still soft, see? He put the paint scraper underneath the fucking orange, and it peeled off just like, not all of it, but most of it. He said, I want it all took off like that, all washed down with thinners. I don't want none of it on the fucking floor. He said, if it take you a week to do it, that's what you got to do. Anyway, it was a week. Every part had to come off, every bit. And where it was orange, where it didn't come off, I had to flatten that back. He was on my case for a fucking week. Brand new lorry, see. So there, that was me spraying opportunity. So while I was there working, they bought the old gunpowder works, Thomas's did, which was, they had to move the welding shop eventually into this place. So me and a chap called Stanley S.S. Harris, he was called. He was Tony's blue-eyed boy. And another old chavvy there called David. So we three had to go over now with the FG lorry, a little FG 310 they had, and start clearing out this fucking gunpowder works. Well, when I got into this gunpowder works, Doughty, there's fucking gunmetal valves everywhere. Copper, pipe, everything. So I know I couldn't say nothing to fucking Stanley Harris, because he was Tony's blue-eyed boy. Dave was up for anything. So Dave had a big old Austin Cambridge car. I said, Dave, I said, see all this fucking scrap here? I said, we can have this away, because he's on about chucking it in a skip. He said, how much is it worth? I said, I fucked away now. I said, but it's worth a lot more than what you and me will get for a week's wages. Anyway, he said, how are we going to get it out? Back your fucking car in, I said. Lift the boot, and we'll load it up. We went on like that for 4 days, and put it all in a big heap on my place. I said, you'll have to come up the weekend. I said, we'll clean it up and weigh it up. Anyway, my father said, what's on here? I said, this has come off a job, I said. He said, you ain't chewing that? I said, no. I said, they're going to chuck it in the fucking iron. I said, I ain't doing that. He said, well, it's going in our skip anyway. I said, yeah, but that's beside the point. Anyway, me and old Dave, we had all the gunmetal and copper there. Good old times. And that's where I was down there, and they rung down the works, and they said, your grandfather's dying, you've got to come home. I never ever went back. So that's the story of me and my trade in welding. So that's bye-bye for now from the Romany Rye.